Hello everyone, this is Serious Trivia. Welcome back to the last Group D match for today, as we have Yulia taking on Han Loyalists. And looking at the army distribution here, we have Yulia on the green side, and she brought the same generals and unit. We have Liu Chong, Mu Lu, and Zhang Liang, with 2 units of Chen Peacekeeper, 2 War Elephants, 4 Wolf Pack, as well as 6 Tyrant Slayers. And then on Han Loyalist side, we have a flip. Instead of using Han Generals, we have Yellow Turban Generals, the leaders of the 3 DLC for a thematic army, led by He Yi, Gong Du, as well as Huang Shao. And we have some Righteous Riders. I actually don't know their exact name. I think they're Righteous something, but they have very high morale, pretty decent shock cavalry unit for the Yellow Turban roster. It's quite limiting. And then 2 Youxia units, Guardian of the Land, couple Yellow Turban warriors, and I believe that's a chanter or a herald. Could be a chanter actually. It would make sense, a decent boost of damage, bringing 1. We'll hop into game and see how this army comp plays out, because there are definitely a lot of juicy infantry for those elephants to charge into here. And looking at deployment, we see pretty much the same thing. Yulia with a forward scout, some screening by the wolf pack, and the elephants and cavalry in the back. Then for the Yellow Turbans, let's see if I remember the Righteous Vanguards, not Righteous Riders. Very high morale, that's kind of their thing. They have a little bit of range block chance, decent weapon damage, and decent charge. Probably one of the better Yellow Turban cavalry units from the Yellow Turban DLC. Obviously, Messenger of Heaven is from a different DLC, but also Yellow Turban unit. You need Zhang Jiao for that one. Lots of Guardian of the Land, decent infantry troop, no range block chance is their biggest weakness. Yellow Turban Warriors, and let's see, is this a chanter? Yes, it is a chanter. It looks very similar artwork-wise as a Yellow Sky Herald, but essentially the chanter is here for the Sacred Chants, which boosts 10% armor as well as melee damage. It's very good, and if these units get buff, obviously will perform very well. Unfortunately, running up against elephants might put a dent in that plan. We'll see how it plays out here. The generals are actually quite weak. Gong Du has a few damage abilities. They're not the weaker side because they have more numerous units, and therefore he cannot use Desperate Cry yet. Once the situation flip, he can use that one. And then He Yi needs to stay with the units to buff them. Okay, we do have a use of the surprise attack. Give them temporary stock. There's not a lot of range, except for general abilities, but those were dodged nicely. A very aggressive infantry advance. There's no range on either side, so you have to kind of close the gap against Liu Chong, which is the main range ability user here. And we see a slight kite back. Now the generals being so far ahead away from their Guardian of the Land, the Tyrant Slayers are going to go to town on them. Chen Peacekeeper joining in. They don't have their bows out. They're not trying to shoot anything. Retreating back. Decent enough speed on all 3. Cavalry coming to respond. Mulu sitting out. These 2 cavalries, or these 3, are trying to get a flank on the other side. Not many super vulnerable units. Kind of just pooling between each other. Liu Chong is the one that's getting focused, which makes perfect sense. And now we have an engagement. Not much of a charge on either side. And we see the evasion boost being added in. This cavalry has not joined for some reason, and they're continuing to flank. Elephants holding still, Mulu is holding still. Not exactly a fair fight. It's 2 generals versus 3, but ooh, that's a brutal use because there's a lot of friendly fire as well, and a little bit late on that ability usage to give a little bit of extra block chance, and that kind of shredded, the morale hit of the ability, routed their own unit. That was a poor use of show of force. And now I wonder, Yulia's sending in the units to help. That makes perfect sense. The cavalry got stopped promptly. Liu Chong's being moved out. This side is kind of being given up on. The elephant's been thrown in there just to throw it in there. Wolfpack, only 1 though, doesn't activate the bonus, so they need to have at least more than 1, thus the pack Chanter got ran right through by the war elephants, and Mulu was mucking things up. Zhang Liang's going to go down. That's expected. And the cavalry's returning a decent amount of damage on the generals, given that there's still Tyrant Slayers, but there were 2 that were just killed by themselves. The roar from the elephant, and just generally getting trampled by the elephants. These cavalry could actually try to catch these, as the elephant continued to go to town. Coming back to save Zhang Liang a little bit, he does activate his extra morale and armor at below 20% health. Another super brutal hit into his own army. Yulia is being very... I don't know how to say it. Feels like the shots hit, but at all costs, basically. A bit cruel for your own units, but I guess it did get the job done. He Yi being removed, probably the best first person to kill, given that he does have a passive that gives morale. Once he's gone, the other unit's likely to be gone too. The elephant's just going to town against the infantry. They're having a hard time killing these, but Yoxia can stay and try to kill what remains here. Unfortunately, Mulu is running rampant against infantry. The trade-off is Mulu is going to be really good against infantry, but really bad against everything else, and you fighting with 2 generals versus 3. Except for to shore up that weakness, there are 6 Tyrant Slayers here to help kill generals. So the dismount on Gongdu, but just trapped in so many units. And took enough damage to get routed. Wang Shao is also not unbreakable. The bounce back. And the bounce back here as well. And the elephant's going to eventually die. It did a lot, 154 kills, but it's not going to finish the job as it stalls with the Yoxia being unbreakable here. Alright, a couple more show of force just to knock him out for good. 80% armor on that, so show of force is not going to do too much. Switch to the crossbow, which is good. That damage does have armor piercing. And Wang Shao has finally lost as well. Mulu is probably going to die here. Being unbreakable, being on elephant, just doing as much as he can. And as long as these units can swarm these and actually take out He Yi, then with Liu Chong on horse, he can kite these forever. Killing the Yoxia would be the key thing. Mulu bounce, I guess he got let go of. They stopped fighting him. Yeah, they got pulled over. But he's trying to come back. I don't think he's going to get a chance. Oh, traded hits. Yeah, there's no regard for Yulia's own unit. Just hit the enemy general. And Mulu definitely fatigued. A little bit fatigued there. You can see all these tyrants hunting down generals coming back in. They gotta wear out these Yoxia, which is a little bit difficult. A couple crossbow shots. It's kind of wasted, just auto fire there. There's no big damage abilities. I guess you could kite and just show force slowly or just get the units to fight. This is also going to be done. Still so much health on Mulu there. And it's all about cleaning up these last few Yoxia here. Seems like the battle is a surrender. Okay, it's just a little bit longer, not that much long. I think maybe another 20 seconds at most. There weren't that many Yoxia left. You can see one right here. And then another guy right here. There just weren't that many left. Overall, pretty good fight. And so far in the 2 matches that Yulia have won, we have seen some general sniping, which makes sense with the Tyrant Slayer as well as the Show of Force. Seems like the general, given the composition of Mulu being mounted on elephant, as the mod has him permanently mounted on elephant, he's been sent on killing unit duties. And the 2 other generals, Zhang Liang and Liu Chong, has to take care of the other 3 generals. So there is slight handicap there, but it's being evened out a bit by the presence of the Tyrant Slayers. The elephants did okay. It's not too crazy. Mulu is the one who stayed around and did a lot more, being unbreakable. It's hard to kill him with infantry. I think the other generals, range as well as cavalry, should probably be the one handling him. It's going to be just generally difficult to kill him. He doesn't have a lot of health. Actually, if you focused on him, he was at risk of dying for a while when the Yosia had him surrounded, but after they were pulled, the last Guardian didn't really stand a chance, and overall the fight just kind of broke out on two different spots, and once the generals for the Han Loyalists fell, Yulia kind of cleaned up. I mean, with Liu Chong as the only last guy left, even if that's the case, worst case scenario, all infantry cannot really catch up to Liu Chong, and Show of Force could potentially just kite that out forever and finish off the fight, but it didn't get to that point. So as we end day 1 for Group D, we have a couple 2-0 record with Yulia and Trevinicus, both 2-0 at this point. 11 minute 29 seconds for Yulia in terms of time. Trevinicus far behind at 25 minutes and 2 seconds. So their matchup together tomorrow is going to be the one kind of determining this group. And we still have Xun Zhongyi still alive, Folden starting out 0-2, and Han Loyalist starting out 0-2. Both seeking their first win tomorrow. So hopefully you guys enjoy this and come back tomorrow for the rest of Group D action. Until then, bye!